The Long Road by Wolfland. Weakly, Steven grabbed at the wrist that held him in place, and he managed to look backwards towards his Pokemon. As Alan approached, Beldum chattered and backed away, pressing its body into the net in an effort to escape. In all his time with Beldum, Steven had never seen the little steel type look so scared. Something welled up inside him. A determination to protect his Pokemon, his friend. Drawing in a deep breath, Steven shouted to his partner, "Beldum! Use takedown! Foot first!" The steel type paused only momentarily to comprehend its trainer's command before the realization struck. Beldum rushed forward at the netting, but before making contact, it wheeled around so that its metal claw was leading the charge. Slicing through the rope with ease, Beldum broke free from the poacher's trap. "What the... you little brat!" The poacher glared down at the boy still in his grasp before turning his attention back to his partner. "Alan, get the other net! We're not letting that thing escape!" Steven gritted his teeth. "Yes, you are! Beldum, run! Get out of here! Ugh!" His outburst rewarded him with a face full of dirt as the poacher shoved his head down in annoyance. "Shut up, kid! Alan, go get the net!" Squirming under the poacher's hold, Steven looked up in dismay to discover that Beldum had not moved. It seemed to be staring, fixated on its trainer. Steven mustered the last of his strength to desperately shout his command again. "Beldum, run!" It was in that moment that Steven felt the hair on the back of his neck begin to stand on end. A low hum permeated through the earth, and to his amazement, the sensation of weightlessness began to prickle through him. From his low vantage point, he noticed the nearby rocks and pebbles begin to quake and lift from the ground. The iron grip forcing his head to the dirt began to weaken, and he opened his one good eye in time to see the feet of their assailants being lifted from the ground by some invisible force. The hum intensified, and Steven felt the urge to press himself as close to the ground as he could manage. With a rush of air, something flew overhead and connected with one of the poachers in a sickening thud. From where he lay, Steven could hear the other poacher cry out in dismay before the rush of air passed over him once again to make contact with something solid and fleshy. Steven waited until the air was quiet before he dared to move. Gingerly picking his head up, he was greeted by a field of blue and red. "Beldum?" Quiet chattering confirmed his question, and he quickly gathered his beloved Pokemon into his arms. "Beldum, I'm so sorry. What I said yesterday, I was wrong to say something like that. I got frustrated, I lost my temper, and I said hurtful things. Can you forgive me?" A moment of silence hung between trainer and Pokemon as Beldum eyed the very person who betrayed it at a scant 24 hours ago. Steven's nerves returned in full force as Beldum only blinked in response. "I looked everywhere for you, and I didn't tell my dad. And I was so worried because I saw in the paper there were poachers, and I thought something bad would happen, and it was all my fault." Steven found himself on the ground once again, this time with the full weight of a metal Pokemon on his chest. Beldum stared down at him and leaned its head in with a low reverberation, and there was no mistaking its meaning. "You're right. The thought will never again cross my mind. It's a promise." Satisfied with his answer, Beldum chirped and lifted itself up, letting Steven sit upright. Before he could get up, Beldum hovered close enough to gently nudge his swollen eye. He reached up to lightly test the bruise himself, but drew back quickly with a sharp inhale. "I guess we match now," he said sheepishly. Beldum blinked and chattered happily as it bobbed up and down. Steven jabbed a finger at the offending Pokemon. "No way! We are definitely not telling my dad how this happened! Come on, we need to get back to the city to report these guys to the police, and on the way, you can help me think up a believable story." With a warble, Beldam swooped down and grasped the net from the poacher's supplies and dropped it over the two fallen men. Steven dusted himself off as he watched his Pokemon work. Good idea, but I don't think they're getting up anytime soon. Thanks for that, by the way. Beldam chirped with pride and nudged into Steven's side, where he patted his Pokemon gratefully. You have to tell me, though, what did you do to pick those poachers up? Was that a psychic attack? Beldam hummed and rolled its eye thoughtfully, and Steven put his hand to his chin in contemplation. I figured it was worth a shot. I bet it'll come back to you with enough practice. We got something to work towards anyway. As they left the clearing and headed back towards Route 116, a mischievous smile crept across Steven's face. Although, it's too bad you don't know any Ice-type moves. I could use something for the swelling. He looked down with a grin at his partner, and Beldam shot back its best glare. Steven failed miserably at stifling his laugh. Over time, the bond between a trainer and their Pokemon will grow. The trust you forge with your first companion will last a lifetime.